If the NBA expansion draft does take place in 2028, who should our San Antonio Spurs protect?
Go, Spurs, go, 'cause the Giants sing.
What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports and TGIF. The playoffs are right around the corner. However, all signs right now are pointing to the return of the Seattle Supersonics, cool, and a Las Vegas team. Don't know the name of the team at this moment. So even though it's only 2 years away, you guys have been asking about it on the channel, so I thought, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. Let's do an expansion draft. And this is going to be from Pro Football Network. Go figure. I'll put a link in the comments if you want to do this yourself. But let's get into our expansion draft. So here you go. We can play as the expansion team doing the drafting, or we can play as an existing team. We are going to play as the San Antonio Spurs. Scroll down to the bottom right to see the Spurs. Give it a little boop. Scroll back up, and you can configure the expansion draft. This is actually kind of neat. You can kind of tailor it to however you like. Protection slots. One take TSR, protection slots. 6 players, 7 players, 8 players. They do have these little information bubbles. The last expansion draft was 2004, and the Charlotte Bobcats used 8 protection slots. Charlotte Bobcats, wow. Maximum loss players per team, or 2-way contracts eligible. Teams must expose at least. I'm just going to keep it. It's all going to be defaulted. I'm just letting you know you can tailor this to your own likes and needs. Let's get into the simulation. Loading the San Antonio Spurs, and there we are. Look at that. Right under the name, guys. You see it? Top left, right here. Contender. Indeed, agreed. Choose 8 players to protect. Click a player to toggle protection. Restricted free agents can be protected. Unrestricted free agents cannot. And unprotected players will be exposed in the expansion draft. So if you scroll down, you're going to see some players that we can't protect. A lot of these guys are going to be gone by 2028. Harrison Barnes, Mason Plumlee, Harrison Ingram, Emmanuel Miller. Who knows Emmanuel Miller? I don't even know where that is. Is he on a 2-way? I kid you not. That name, I'm drawing a blank on Emmanuel Miller. Wow, okay. Jordan McLaughlin, Bismack Biyama, David Jones, Okay, let's get into the meat of the roster. Who am I protecting first? Oh, it's a tough decision. I think we're gonna protect Victor Wembanyama. This is the franchise player for the next decade. No questions asked. The San Antonio Spurs are going to protect Wemby first. So you know what, guys? You can't have Area 51 without the 5. So up next, I'm protecting Stephon Castle. Immediately now, we protected 2 players that can play both ends of the floor. All right, we have 6 more spots remaining that we can protect. Take a look at the roster here, Spurs fans. Who are we going to go number 3? I actually like Dylan Harper at number 3. I have been so impressed with Dylan Harper this season. He's young, and he's only going... We say this on the channel. This is the worst version of Dylan Harper we're going to see. Well, until he gets older near retirement. But right now, his ceiling looks very, very high. Now, while we're doing this, by the way, we're going to assume everyone is healthy, contracts are worked out, etc. Everything is status quo. Players are developing as expected. So far, we protected our young core. Wemby, Castle, and Harper. Who next? I'm going to stick with the young core. This might be jumping a little too forward thinking in the future, but just seeing what I see on the court right now and the development from day 1 to where we are, I'm going to protect Carter Bryant. Again, I said while doing this, we're assuming players develop to the players that we expect them to be, and I expect them to be a very good starter or player off the bench by the time 2028 rolls around. Hopefully a starter. All right, we protected Wemby, Castle, Harper, and Bryant. We're halfway there. We got 4 more spots, and there are the 4 players. Actually, we have 6 players. Wait, 1, 2, 3. One take TSR. I only got one. I got to make my nickname. One take TSR. I protect 4 out of the 5 remaining players. Okay, let's go ahead and grab young player. He's on a very cheap contract right now. I don't think he's going to stay on that cheap contract when he gets renewed. He's obviously not going to be making $3 million. But Julian Champagnie, pop the Champagnie. Defense, 3D player, shooting, defense. Yeah, pop the Champagnie. All right, we're down to the final 4, the Fantastic 4. We can protect 3 out of these final 4 players. And this is where I think the comments in the chat are getting a little very curious how you guys react to my pick, but also who your pick is. Out of all the players we can protect here, 1 player needs to be exposed. Who will that player be? I'm protecting next the heart and soul of our San Antonio Spurs. Maybe the most Spursy player with how he is Texas-wise, Keldon Johnson. Been there from day one of the rebuild in 2019 when he was drafted 29th overall. Keldon, Spur for life. And then there were the three amigos. The easy pick right here might be to not protect Luke Kornet because he's older. He's the oldest out of this bunch at 30 years old. He does have the smallest contract, though, out of the three. And because we have a lot of big contracts coming up with Wemby, Castle, Harper, who knows with Bryant, I don't know what he's going to make as a 14th overall pick. I'm actually going to protect Luke. Maybe a little unexpected, but we're going to protect Luke Kornet, which would be until the end of pretty much the end of his contract, right? That leaves De'Aaron Fox and Devin Vassell. I have talked at length on this channel that I was not in love with Devin Vassell's contract. His production this year has been, he's a role player. Is he overpaid as a role player? I think so. Probably a little bit. $25+ million a year for his production. I think that's a bit of an overpay. I think he should be closer to what Keldon Johnson's making in that, $18 to $20 million range. It is what it is. That's what they signed him for. And up until they traded for De'Aaron Fox, actually Vassell had the largest contract in Spurs history, which of course drew some eyeballs and scrutiny from Spurs fans. On the flip side, we have De'Aaron Fox, who does, I just mentioned, have the largest contract in Spurs history. He's a great player. I got to pick between Devin Vassell and De'Aaron Fox. The double Ds. Never want to pick between... Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm keeping out of these two Devin Vassell. De'Aaron Fox is the one player I'm going to leave exposed on this roster for the expansion draft. And I already know in the comments, TSR, you're nuts. What are you doing? There is one reason and one primary reason alone that De'Aaron Fox is a player that I would let be drafted by the Seattle team or the Las Vegas team. It is his contract. When this expansion draft likely happens in 2028, he will have 2 years left, $58 million and $62 million. He'll be on the wrong side of 30. However, those two expansion teams might see him as, clutch player, hopefully an NBA champion at that point, former NBA champion, and draft him. Because we got to remember, at this time, Wemby will be entering year number 2 of his new contract, which is going to be a big one. Castle, year number 1. Harper and Bryant, extensions on the horizon. If De'Aaron Fox plays out his contract, I don't see how we can keep everybody. I really don't. High lottery picks can get expensive very fast. Wemby was a first overall pick, Castle was 4th, and Harper was number 2. I don't see how that works. If you guys can do the math in the chat and tell me, TSR, you know what? I see how it can work. I'm more than open to reading it, but carrying possibly 4 max contracts, not in today's NBA, not with the first apron and second apron rules. Now, could the Spurs, I'm going to throw this out to you, after next season, could the Spurs move on from Fox? Harper's now ready to start. Well, maybe 1 more year as Harper as a backup, even though he's probably too good to be a backup, a lot of opinions on the channel, and I tend to agree at this point. He's getting to that point. Could he still be a backup next season? And then they move from Fox after next season, before Wemby's extension kicks in. And I know Fox has a lot of supporters, and I truly hope, by the way, he proves a lot of the doubters wrong in the playoffs. I really hope he steps up against every team we play and looks like that max contract guy. But that contract is going to cause issues keeping our young core together in the future. I just don't see how it can be sustained. Let me know, though. If, again, I do believe the future is Wemby, Castle, and Harper. Fox is the right now, and he's the transition piece from helping get us to a contender and being a champion. And then those 3 guys, Wemby, Harper, Castle, will carry that torch on. And Fox established himself somewhere else. Maybe Seattle, maybe Las Vegas, maybe somewhere else. I don't know. That's all I got. Drop a comment down below. Who do you keep out of all the players we showed? Who do you not keep? Let me reword that. Not who do you keep, because instead of listing all the players you're keeping, it's going to be easier to list the one player you do not protect. Which player would you not protect in the upcoming expansion draft? Who do you let go? Why do you let him go? Very curious on your thoughts. Hit the thumbs up if you like support the channel. Subscribe to become part of our awesome Spurs community. Nobody was on the weekend. I'll be busy, but I will be here, I believe, with Miss TSR for the Portland Trailblazers Sunday night. Our first playoff series together. The Spurs' first playoff game in 7 years. It's going to be fire. I'm excited. Hope you're excited. Have a great weekend. Thank you, and as always, go Spurs, go!